8 billion people, every single human being on Earth, standing shoulder to shoulder, bending their knees, and jumping at the exact same moment. The ground shakes, the air trembles. What happens next? Does the Earth move? Does the planet shift in its orbit? Could 8 billion simultaneous jumps trigger an earthquake, a tsunami, or something even more catastrophic? Let us actually do the math on this, because the answer is surprising in ways you do not expect. First, let us figure out the force involved. The average human weighs about 137 pounds, or about 62 kilograms. When you jump, you push against the ground with a force roughly 2 to 3 times your body weight. So each person generates roughly 124 to 186 kilograms of force. Multiply that by 8 billion people, and you get approximately 1 trillion kilograms of force, or about 10 trillion newtons, all pushing against the Earth at the same instant. Sounds enormous, right? It is not. Earth's mass is approximately 6 times 10 to the 24 kilograms. That is a 6 followed by 24 zeros. The combined force of every human jumping would accelerate the Earth by less than 100 trillionth of a centimeter per second. If you could somehow measure this incredibly tiny displacement, the Earth would move less than the width of a single atom. Actually, less than the width of a hydrogen atom. For reference, a hydrogen atom is about 1/10 billionth of a meter across. We are talking about a movement so absurdly small that no instrument ever built could detect it. And here is the thing. The Earth would immediately bounce back when everyone landed again. Because for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The net effect on the planet's orbit would be precisely zero. But wait, let us make this thought experiment more interesting. Forget the physics of the Earth for a moment. What happens to the people? All 8 billion humans need to be in one place. If you packed everyone shoulder to shoulder, the entire population of Earth would fit inside an area roughly the size of Los Angeles, about 500 square miles. Now imagine everyone in the world, every human being who has ever lived in your lifetime, packed into the greater Los Angeles area. The logistical nightmare of getting everyone there would be the first catastrophe. Every road, every airport, every shipping lane in the world converges on one city. Global infrastructure collapses within hours. Hospitals evacuate. Nuclear power plants are abandoned. The food supply chain disintegrates instantly since nobody is farming, trucking, or stocking shelves. And that is before anyone even jumps. But they all jump. And the sound, oh, the sound. 8 billion people jumping and landing simultaneously would produce a noise comparable to about a magnitude 4 to 6 earthquake in the immediate area. Not from the ground impact, which is negligible on a planetary scale, but from the sheer acoustic energy of 16 billion feet hitting the ground at the same time. Windows would shatter across Los Angeles. Car alarms would trigger for miles. Anyone near the center of the crowd without ear protection might suffer permanent hearing damage from the combined shockwave. The ground beneath the crowd would compact slightly. The soil in that area would be trampled into something resembling concrete. If the crowd was standing on saturated ground, the sudden pressure pulse could trigger localized liquefaction, where the soil temporarily behaves like a liquid. People could sink ankle or even knee-deep in formerly solid ground. In a worst-case scenario, a hillside or unstable cliff near the gathering could collapse from the vibration. Now here is where the real disaster begins. The jump is over. It lasted about 1 second. And now 8 billion people are standing in Los Angeles with no food, no water, no shelter, and no way to leave. The city's infrastructure is designed for about 4 million people. You have 2,000 times that many. Fresh water runs out within hours. Sanitation fails immediately. Diseases begin spreading within the first day. Cholera, dysentery, and respiratory infections would sweep through the crowd like wildfire. The sheer body heat of 8 billion people packed together would raise the local temperature significantly. In summer conditions, heat stroke would become a mass casualty event. The carbon dioxide exhaled by 8 billion people, roughly 32 billion liters per minute, would measurably affect local air quality. Getting people out would take months, possibly years. There are not enough roads, trains, planes, and ships on the planet to relocate 8 billion people in any reasonable time frame. Starvation and resource conflicts would begin long before any organized evacuation could be completed. So here is the supreme irony of this thought experiment. 8 billion people jumping simultaneously would have absolutely zero measurable effect on the planet Earth. It would not shift our orbit. It would not trigger an earthquake. It would not even register on a seismograph more than a few miles away. But the act of gathering 8 billion people in one place to do it, that would be one of the worst disasters in human history. The jump does nothing. The crowd kills millions. It is a perfect illustration of something profound about humanity. Individually, we are negligible on a planetary scale. The Earth does not notice us. But collectively, the logistics of our existence, the infrastructure required to feed and move and house 8 billion people, that is where our true impact lies. We do not move the Earth with our feet. We reshape it with our systems. And that is far more powerful and far more dangerous than any jump could ever be. If thought experiments like this make your brain light up, you know what to do. Subscribe and let us keep